An open letter to all of our fans. Dear you, first of all, sorry this has taken so long. It's just been hard to find the right words to say. The last time we were really in touch was over 2 years ago. The world around you and me had shut down, and we were all struggling to acclimate to the new altered reality of the world on lockdown. Early in the pandemic, it was clear to me that we wouldn't be playing shows anytime soon. We had other things to focus on, and so we put Swimmers on the back burner. Max, my brother and the leader of the band, was recovering from a spate of injuries that he suffered from a car crash in 2019. He was on the way to a gig with our 2 crew members when they hit black ice in Wyoming. The van rolled and he was ejected. In an instant, our lives changed completely. He spent a week in the ICU and a month in a rehab hospital. I went out to Wyoming and then to Denver to be with my family as we watched his progress. Many of you sent cards, flowers, and other creature comforts. In that dark time, those notes were a source of light for Max and for my whole family. If that was you, I can't thank you enough. While many of his injuries were fixed by the time the pandemic began, Max was only at the beginning of his road to recovery. I moved back to our parents' house to be with him as he relearned how to walk. I spent those months with him and with my family adapting to the idiosyncrasies that accompanied his brain injury. Everything seemed to make his head hurt. The sound of the dishes being washed, the television in the other room, the strum of a guitar from my room upstairs. Anything could send him into a spiral. Slowly, we started making music together again, first as therapy and then more seriously. The music was quite gentle and very quiet, and so we had to make a concerted effort for Max to get back to a place where he could play or even consider playing rock music again. I was waiting for the old Max to emerge from the heather in his brain. He had always been sharp, confident, and in control. Internally, he was still all of those things, but externally, he was slow, tired, and frustrated. When you watch somebody you love suffer a physical trauma that is so all-consuming, your priorities shift. I wasn't really thinking about the band anymore. I was just focusing on my brother. It's against that backdrop that my life changed once again. In July 2020, my friend and the drummer of Swimmers, Joey Armstrong, was accused of emotional abuse and sexual coercion by somebody that he had dated years before. They were not the same age when they dated. He was 22, she was 17. But nonetheless, the accusations came as a shock to me. Lydia was somebody that we considered a friend. When I first heard that she was going to call Joey out, I immediately called her. I remembered that Joey and her had met up months before to discuss their relationship after the fact, and that I believed that it had gone well, so I wanted to figure out what had changed. We talked twice, and it was going well until she made light of my brother's car wreck and suggested that we could post about the regrets on our Instagram story to prevent her from going public with her accusations. At which point I had to step away from the situation. When she published her statement, I immediately saw that certain details were embellished to make it appear worse than it was. I was there. I remember their brief relationship. I remember when he spent Mother's Day with her family. As such, I was confused when she claimed that he forced her to keep the relationship a secret. Everyone involved in both of their lives knew about it. I was also confused because they never had sex, and yet many people began to refer to him as a rapist and to us as rape apologists. There was no accusation of sexual assault, and yet the statement was written to make it appear that Joey was a sexual predator. Maybe he wasn't a good boyfriend, but he is not a sexual predator. Maybe they shouldn't have dated, but they did. There are nuances to the situation that got lost. At the time, it felt wrong for me to interject, given that I'm neither Joey nor his ex-girlfriend. Ultimately, it isn't my story to tell, and I really didn't want to discredit her story, but the discrepancies were too glaring for me to take her side over his. I wasn't going to condemn my friend. Because we refused to condemn him, we got canceled. We started getting death threats. Private information about our lives was being passed around casually by people who felt betrayed by us. People were finding every creative way to tell us that we sucked and that they hated us. If you were one of these people, I get it. You had believed that we stood for something, and yet here we were, seemingly contradicting ourselves by standing by our friend amid these allegations. People that I had considered friends began posting statements condemning our band. I recalled in horror how I had participated in this frenzy several times before from the other side. I thought that I had been using my platform for a good thing, but in the end I was participating in a culture that rewards cruel behavior in the name of justice. And I only learned this because of how cruel people were being to us. We were being media flogged. Swimmers is not breaking up, but a chapter of our lives has emphatically closed. Joey and Seb have both stepped away from the band to grow their personal lives. Max and I are going to keep the band going. After everything we've been through, it feels stupid to quit. He has worked relentlessly on his recovery since the accident, with the sole intention of being able to play rock music on a stage again. Our band means a lot to us, and I think it means a lot to a lot of you as well. For a long time, I was scared to say anything, because I know that what I have to say right now is controversial. It doesn't fit neatly into the cultural binary of good versus bad. And I was scared because I don't want to fight anyone. That's the last thing I want to do. But I'm left, as this continues to interfere with our ability to do our job, I have no other choice. The time has come for us to set the record straight. Some of you will hear this and it won't be enough. If that's the case, you don't have to listen to our music. I'm only trying to tell you the truth. I've not always done the right thing, but anyone who really knows me knows that I always try to treat people with respect and to work from a place of love. No matter how this letter finds you, we're sending you love, respect, and gratitude. It's always been an honor to share our music with you.